I adjusted the strap of my faded dress and tried not to stare at the chandelier above me. Crystal drops sparkled like stars, and all I could think was how one of them probably cost more than the pills I scraped together for Lily last month. "Emily, you made it," Daniel's voice boomed across the ballroom. He hugged me lightly, careful not to wrinkle his suit. "Didn't think you'd show." "I almost didn't," I said. "Hospitals don't like to let mothers walk out." His smile faltered for a second. "Lily's fine, right?" "As fine as a child waiting for heart surgery can be." He cleared his throat, pretending not to hear the edge in my voice. "Well, tonight's about celebrating. You'll see, Amelia planned every detail. She wanted perfection. I can tell." My eyes drifted to the towering cake at the center, 5 tiers covered in gold dust. I imagined slicing through it with my trembling hands and trading every bite for one more breath from Lily. Amelia swept toward us in a dress that clung to her like moonlight. Her diamond earrings caught the light. "Emily," she said, her tone sweet but cold, "I didn't expect you to come." "You must be exhausted with everything." "I wouldn't miss my brother's big moment," I said, even though my nails dug into my palms. She tilted her head. "That's kind. Though forgive me, that dress, is it vintage?" Daniel laughed too loudly. "She's joking, Em. Amelia loves fashion." "You know that?" I forced a smile. "Yes, vintage, straight out of a thrift store." Her lips curled, but she didn't reply. She was pulled away by her friends, all dripping jewels. Daniel sighed. "Don't take it personally. She's under stress. The wedding's huge. $250,000 huge," I muttered. He stiffened. "Who told you that?" "It's in every whisper around the room." "People can't believe you spent that much." His jaw tightened. "It's Amelia's dream. And mine. What about Lily's dream? She just wants to breathe without a machine." Daniel looked away, scanning the room as if my words were background noise. "Let's not ruin the evening," I wanted to scream. Instead, I bit my tongue until it tasted like iron. A cousin approached, champagne glass raised. "Daniel, my man, this is like a royal affair." "You outdid yourself," Daniel's grin returned. "Only once in a lifetime, right?" "Once in a lifetime," I echoed under my breath, thinking of the surgery Lily might not live long enough to see. When they drifted off, I slipped to a quieter corner. A waiter offered me a flute of champagne. I shook my head. "Water's fine." The glass felt heavy in my hand. I thought of Lily lying in her hospital bed, sketching flowers in her notebook. She loved roses, simple and pink, not the imported white orchids Amelia had scattered across every table. Aunt Margaret shuffled over, her eyes soft with pity. "Emily, dear, how's your little girl?" I swallowed hard. "She's fighting. She always was a fighter." "You remind me of her," her voice lowered. "I wish your brother would do more. All this money?" She gestured at the glittering hall. "It breaks my heart. Mine too," I whispered. Music swelled. Amelia took the stage glowing like a goddess. "To love, to family, to forever," she declared. The crowd erupted in applause. I clapped too, because anything else would expose the bitterness burning in my chest. Daniel found me again. "Smile, Em, you look like you're at a funeral." "Sometimes I think I am." He frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Never mind. Go enjoy your night." He hesitated, then left. I leaned against the wall, my pulse pounding. Around me, laughter echoed, glasses clinked, dresses shimmered. For them, this was the start of a fairy tale. For me, it was a reminder of how little my family valued my daughter's life. I closed my eyes and imagined Lily's tiny hand in mine, her voice whispering, "Don't give up, Mom." But as Amelia twirled in Daniel's arms under a rain of confetti, I wondered how much longer I could keep pretending we belonged to the same world. The monitor beeped steadily beside Lily's bed, each sound a reminder of the time slipping away. She smiled at me weakly, her lips pale. "Mom, don't cry," she whispered. "I'm not," I lied, brushing her hair back. "I'm just tired." "You always say that." Her eyes closed, and I held her hand tighter. The doctor's words echoed in my head. She needs surgery soon. Waiting too long is dangerous. I couldn't wait anymore. That night, I stood at Daniel's front door, clutching my bag as if it could steady my shaking body. The golden light spilled from his house, laughter echoing inside. I knocked. He opened the door, surprised. "Emily? It's late. I need to talk." He frowned but stepped aside. "Amelia's here too. She's..." busy with planning. Inside, the house looked like a showroom, not a home. Amelia sat on the couch, scrolling through her phone, wine glass in hand. She barely looked up. "Oh, Emily," I took a deep breath. "I wouldn't come if it wasn't urgent." "It's about Lily." Daniel shifted uncomfortably. "Is she worse?" "Yes, the doctors say we're running out of time. She needs surgery now, not months from now." "And my voice cracked. "I can't afford it alone." Amelia sighed, setting her phone down. "Emily, we already discussed this. You can't expect us to shoulder—" "I'm not asking you to shoulder everything," I interrupted. "Just some help. A loan, a contribution, anything. You spent $250,000 on a wedding. Lily's life could be saved with a fraction of that." Daniel rubbed his forehead. "It's not that simple." "It is that simple," I snapped. "She's dying, Daniel," his jaw clenched. "I don't have the money lying around anymore. It all went into the wedding, the house, then take from your savings, from the inheritance Dad left us. You know he would want it to go to family." He looked away. "That money's already tied up." "Tied up?" My voice rose. "In flowers and champagne?" Amelia stood, her tone sharp. "Don't guilt us, Emily. This isn't about money. It's about timing. We can't just undo commitments. Deposits are paid. Vendors are booked. What do you expect Daniel to do? Cancel everything because your daughter needs surgery?" The way she said it, like surgery was an inconvenience, made my stomach twist. "Yes," I whispered. "If it means saving her life, yes," Daniel snapped. "That's unfair. You think I don't care about my niece? You think I wouldn't help if I could? Then help me now," I begged. Tears blurred my vision. "She's all I have. I can't lose her." Silence stretched. Amelia folded her arms. "Emily, you need to be realistic. Hospitals exaggerate. Children are resilient. Maybe wait until after the wedding, when things settle down. Wait." My voice broke. "She might not make it to your honeymoon," Daniel groaned, pacing. "Don't say that. God, don't say that. Then prove me wrong. Help her." He stopped pacing but didn't meet my eyes. "I can't. Not now." The words hit like a slap. Amelia picked up her glass again, already done with the conversation. "It's really bad timing. I'm sorry, Emily, but our hands are tied." I stared at them, my brother, my soon-to-be sister-in-law, and wondered how people could look so polished on the outside yet be so empty inside. "Your hands aren't tied," I said softly. "You just chose diamonds over blood." Daniel's face hardened. "Enough, don't come here again like this." "It's not fair," I laughed bitterly through my tears. "Fair? Fair would be Lily running in the park like other kids. Fair would be parents who didn't die leaving me to beg my brother for scraps. Fair doesn't exist here." Neither of them spoke. The silence screamed louder than words. I turned toward the door. My legs felt like stone, but I forced them to move. My voice shook as I said, "Don't worry. I won't bother you again." The night air hit me like ice as I stepped outside. Behind me, their house glowed warm and bright. I walked down the path, each step heavier, each breath sharper. In that moment, I knew I was nothing more than a shadow in their perfect world. Invisible, forgettable, and utterly alone. The church bells rang, but all I heard was the memory of Lily's weak cough echoing in my head. She had whispered to me that morning, "Mom, don't skip it. Family matters, remember?" That was the only reason I was here, dressed in borrowed shoes that pinched my feet. Daniel spotted me as I slipped into the pew. His smile was wide, but I saw the tightness in his jaw. "You made it," he said, rushing over. "I promised Lily," I answered. "She wanted me here," he nodded quickly. "Good. Stay for the reception, too." Amelia worked hard. "Of course," I said, though my chest burned at the thought of champagne fountains while Lily struggled to breathe. Amelia's mother glided past us, whispering harshly to her husband. "I told you the guest list was too big. Look at the seating mess," her husband muttered back. "Talk to Amelia, not me." I warned Daniel about the expenses. Their words sliced through the choir's music. I tucked them into my memory. The ceremony began. Amelia walked down the aisle in a gown heavy with pearls, her veil shimmering like ice. Gasps of admiration rose from the crowd. I whispered to myself, "Lily would think she looks like a snow queen." Daniel's smile wavered as Amelia reached him. His lips stretched, but his eyes darted toward her parents, then toward the pastor, then back at the guests. It wasn't joy. It was performance. When they exchanged vows, Amelia's voice rang clear. I promise loyalty, honor, and devotion. Daniel's reply came slower. I promise the same. His throat bobbed like he'd swallowed stones. After the kiss, applause thundered. I clapped politely, my hands trembling. At the reception hall, the gold-plated decor nearly blinded me. Tables groaned under towers of food. I stood near the back, sipping water. Amelia swept past. Her gown changed into something shorter, glittering with sequins. She laughed too loudly, clutching Daniel's arm. Smile, darling. Everyone's watching. I am smiling, he muttered. Not enough. Pretend you're happy. I don't have to pretend, he said, though the words carried no warmth. Their photographer rushed over. A picture by the fountain, please. Amelia posed like a star, tilting her chin. Daniel barely adjusted. His smile cracked halfway through the flash. A cousin joined me at the drinks table. Emily, you see that? He looks like he's signing a contract, not marrying a bride. I forced a laugh. Maybe nerves, but my eyes stayed on him. Something was off. Later, I passed Amelia's parents again. Her mother hissed, "They can't keep spending like this. The accounts aren't bottomless," her father sighed. Too late now. He's already in over his head. My stomach twisted. Daniel cornered me briefly. Are you enjoying yourself? I stared at the overflowing buffet. It's beautiful. Almost surreal. You sound bitter, he said. I sound tired, I corrected. Some of us don't live in dreams. His face fell, but before he could reply, Amelia pulled him away. Darling, the dance is starting. On the dance floor, Amelia twirled, her dress flashing under the lights. Daniel moved stiffly, whispering something I couldn't hear. She frowned, but kept smiling for the crowd. I slipped outside for air. The night was cool, a relief against my burning skin. I leaned against the stone wall and whispered, Lily, I wish you could see this circus. A bridesmaid followed me out, heels clicking. She lit a cigarette and exhaled. Between us, he doesn't look thrilled, does he? Daniel? I asked. She smirked. Yeah, my guess. Cold feet never left. But Amelia doesn't take no for an answer. I stayed quiet, letting her words sink in. Inside, applause roared again. I returned just in time to see Amelia raise a glass. To love that conquers all. Daniel raised his slowly. To love. His voice cracked on the word. Guests cheered, oblivious. But I saw the tremor in his hand, the way he drained the glass like it was medicine. I sat alone, invisible in the glittering crowd. Every laugh, every toast, every sparkle screamed wealth. Yet all I could think of was the thin hospital blanket wrapped around my daughter. Aunt Margaret leaned over from the next table. You see it too, don't you? The cracks, I nodded slightly. Yes, mirrors break no matter how polished, she sighed. Then watch closely. The shattering always comes faster than people think. Her words lingered as I looked at my brother's forced grin under the chandeliers. For the first time, I felt a strange flicker of hope, not for him, but for the truth to surface, and when it did, I swore I'd be there to watch every piece fall. I sat at the kitchen table with a stack of unopened bills, my head heavy in my hands. The phone rang, breaking the silence. It was Aunt Margaret. Emily, she said softly, there's something you need to know. About the inheritance. Inheritance? I frowned. You mean the money Dad left us? Yes. Daniel received his share months ago. More than enough to cover Lily's surgery. My throat closed. That's impossible. He told me everything was tied up. He lied, she whispered. I shouldn't say more, but I saw the documents. He used it for the wedding. The room spun. Thank you, I managed before hanging up. The betrayal cut deeper than I could bear. My brother had chosen orchids, champagne, and diamond ice sculptures over my daughter's beating heart. I grabbed my coat and stormed to his house. My fists hammered the door until Daniel opened it, startled. Emily? What's wrong? You lied to me, his brow furrowed. What are you talking about? The inheritance? Dad's money. You had it. You could have saved her, color drained from his face. Who told you? It doesn't matter. Did you? He hesitated. Yes, but you don't understand. I understand perfectly. My voice cracked. You spent our father's legacy on flowers and fireworks while Lily's chest rattles with every breath. Calm down, he hissed, glancing behind him. Amelia's inside. I don't care, I shouted. Tell me why. Tell me why you chose her dreams over Lily's life. Amelia appeared in the doorway, arms crossed. What's all this noise? I turned to her. Did you know? Did you know he had money and refused to help us? She smirked. Of course I knew. That's why we had the wedding we deserved. My stomach lurched. Deserved? Yes. Daniel promised me perfection, and he delivered. We worked hard, we sacrificed, we earned this. Earned? My voice broke. You didn't earn anything. You stole from a dying child. Daniel stepped forward, voice low. Emily, don't exaggerate. Exaggerate? My laugh came out jagged. Do you want me to bring Lily here so you can hear her gasping in your marble bathroom? Would that be real enough? His face twisted. I didn't want to choose between my future and your niece's life. I cut him off. There was no choice. You made it when you hid the money. Amelia's voice was icy. Don't guilt him. You think a wedding like ours comes cheap? We built a reputation tonight. Connections, respect, opportunity. That matters. I shook my head. Respect? Everyone whispered about your debts while you smiled for the cameras. You bought illusions while I begged strangers for donations. Daniel's shoulders sagged. I thought I could fix things later. After the wedding. After Amelia and I were secure. Later? My words cracked like glass. There might not be a later for Lily. He rubbed his temple. I didn't mean harm. I was just overwhelmed. I stepped closer, trembling with fury. Overwhelmed? I buried our parents young, raised myself, and now I'm fighting for Lily's life every day. Do you see me throwing parties to cope? Silence hung heavy. Amelia rolled her eyes. You're being dramatic. Children get sick. It's sad, but life goes on. Something inside me snapped. Life goes on? For you, maybe. For me, every breath Lily takes is a battle. And you chose sequins and champagne over her survival. Daniel's voice dropped. I'm sorry. No, I whispered. You're not sorry. You're sorry I found out. His eyes glistened. Emily, please, don't. My voice turned to steel. You're dead to me, Amelia gasped. How dare you? How dare I? I barked. How dare you both? You'll live in a palace built on my daughter's suffering. But know this, I will never forgive you. Daniel's face crumpled. We're family. Family? My chest burned. Family doesn't let children die while they sip champagne. I spun on my heel and slammed the door behind me. The night air stung, but it was nothing compared to the fire in my veins. I walked until my legs shook, tears streaming down my face. I whispered to the darkness, Lily, I'm so sorry. I thought family would protect us. I was wrong. The betrayal hollowed me out, leaving nothing but rage and grief. And as I stared at the empty street, I vowed one thing. I would never beg Daniel again. Not for money, not for help, not for love. If he wanted to build his empire on lies, let him. One day, I swore, the mirror he polished so carefully would shatter, and when it did, I'd be there to watch him bleed from every shard. Mom! Lily's voice cracked before her body went limp in my arms. Help! I screamed, rushing through the ER doors. Nurses swarmed us, pulling her from me, their voices urgent. BP dropping, get her on monitors. Call cardiology now. Stay here, ma'am. They wheeled her away, leaving me frozen in the hallway. My legs buckled, and I collapsed into a plastic chair, clutching my chest as if I could keep it from splitting open. A nurse touched my shoulder. We'll do everything we can. I nodded, unable to speak. Time crawled. Every beep from beyond the doors stabbed my ears. I whispered, Please, God, please don't take her. The nurse returned. She's stable for now. But it was close. I choked out, Can I see her? Soon. The doctor needs to talk first. I buried my face in my hands. I failed her. I should have done more. You're here, the nurse said gently. That's what matters. Tears burned my cheeks. Her own uncle had the money. He spent it on flowers. Flowers. The nurse's eyes widened. I'm so sorry. Some people don't understand what matters. A friend from the waiting area, Sarah, sat beside me. Emily, don't blame yourself. You've done everything. I shook my head. Not everything. I begged, I pleaded, and still. She's hooked to machines while they drink champagne. Sarah squeezed my hand. They'll answer for it someday. Will they? My voice cracked. What if karma's just a story we tell ourselves to survive? What if evil people always win? Her silence was heavier than words. The doctor finally appeared, clipboard in hand. She stabilized, but it was dangerous. She needs surgery soon, Emily. Very soon. I don't have the money. My words came out broken. He sighed. Talk to billing. Maybe they can arrange a plan. Don't lose hope. Hope. The word felt like a cruel joke. When they let me into her room, I saw her tiny frame, pale and fragile, wires everywhere. I whispered, Lily, I'm so sorry. Her eyes fluttered open. Mom, don't cry. I'm okay. You scared me half to death, she smiled weakly. I'll be fine. You always make things work. Her faith in me shredded my heart. I'll try, baby. I'll try. The nurse adjusted the IV and smiled at Lily. You're the bravest girl here. Am I? Lily whispered. Yes, the nurse said warmly. And your mom's the strongest. When she left, I sank into the chair, trembling. Lily drifted to sleep, her chest rising slowly. I whispered to the silent machines. Why does it feel like strangers care more than family? Sarah leaned in the doorway. Because sometimes they do. I looked up at her, tears streaking my face. I'm drowning, Sarah. The bills, the fear, the anger, I can't breathe. She stepped closer. You're not alone. We'll figure something out. I'll start a fundraiser. People will help, I shook my head. How can I ask strangers when my own brother let this happen? Because strangers sometimes carry the kind of heart family forgets to use, she said softly. Her words stung with truth. Hours passed. I watched Lily sleep, her hand small in mine. My mind spun with fury, guilt, despair. I whispered to myself, maybe I don't believe in justice anymore. Maybe the world just lets the cruel shine while the rest of us bleed. Sarah squeezed my shoulder. Don't lose yourself in their cruelty. You still have her. Fight for her, even when the world looks unfair. I nodded slowly, though inside I felt hollow. The night stretched on, and as the monitors beeped steadily, I sat in the shadows, wondering if light would ever return, or if I was destined to break along with the little girl I couldn't save. I sat in the hospital cafeteria with cold coffee when Sarah leaned across the table. Have you heard? Heard what? I asked. About your brother. About Amelia, I frowned. No, I don't keep up with them anymore. She lowered her voice. People are saying the money's gone. Amelia burned through it. Creditors are circling, I laughed bitterly. So the empire is cracking. Sarah's eyes softened. Doesn't that feel like karma? It feels late, I muttered. Too late for Lily's nights of pain. Later that week, I ran into Aunt Margaret at the market. She clutched her basket, eyes wide. Emily, have you heard about Daniel? I sighed. Everyone seems eager to tell me, she whispered. His company's downsizing. They're cutting his position. Amelia's parents are furious, accusing him of draining them dry. My heart twisted, not in pity, but in something darker. He chose this, she nodded. Yes, but it's happening fast. I've never seen Amelia so desperate. Desperate? I repeated, tasting the word. I thought she didn't believe in desperation. Aunt Margaret leaned closer. At the last family dinner, she screamed at him in front of everyone. Said he ruined her life. I raised an eyebrow. Ruined? She decorated ruin with orchids and gold dust. The memory clung to me as I walked home. A week later, I passed a cafe and froze when I heard familiar voices. I stepped inside quietly. Amelia sat with two women, her hands shaking around a latte. Maxed out cards, one woman whispered. I told Daniel he should have asked for help. Amelia hissed. Now I'm humiliated. My parents won't bail us out again. They said we look like beggars. The other woman asked, so what will you do? Amelia's eyes glistened. I don't know. Everything's collapsing. I turned and left before she saw me, my chest tight with a strange mix of anger and satisfaction. That night, Sarah called again. I heard Amelia's car got repossessed. Good, I said flatly. Emily. Don't tell me to be kind, I snapped. Where was their kindness when Lily needed it? She sighed. I'm not defending them, I just don't want you to lose yourself in their downfall. Maybe losing myself is all I have left, I whispered. Days later, Daniel showed up outside the hospital. His suit was wrinkled, his eyes hollow. Emily, he said. I stiffened. What do you want? I need to talk. About what? How poor you feel now? How heavy debt tastes? He flinched. I deserve that. But please, just hear me out. I crossed my arms. Fine, speak, he swallowed. I lost my job. Amelia spends more than we have. Her parents turned their backs on us. I cut him off. You mean you're finally living what you gave me? Desperation, fear, shame. Welcome. Emily, I never wanted this, he said desperately. I thought we'd have stability first, then I could help. I laughed bitterly. Stability? You built a palace of glass. And now it's cracking. His eyes filled with tears. Please don't hate me. I don't hate you, I said coldly. I just see you clearly now. And I see karma working, he whispered. I'm scared. Lily's been scared her whole life, I snapped. You didn't care then. He opened his mouth but closed it again, defeated. I turned away. Go home, Daniel. Watch your empire fall. I'll watch too, but I won't shed a tear. He left silently, shoulders slumped. Later, I sat by Lily's bed as she drew flowers in her notebook. Mom, she said softly. Why do you look sad? I kissed her forehead. I'm not sad, sweetheart, just thinking. About Uncle Daniel? Yes. She looked up at me with wide eyes. Is he okay? I almost laughed. No, he's not okay. Her little hand touched mine. Maybe he needs help. Help? I whispered. After everything? She nodded. Sometimes people need to break to understand. Her words pierced me deeper than anything Daniel had said. That night, I lay awake, torn between bitterness and the faintest flicker of pity. Their empire was crumbling, but inside me, the rubble of my own faith still weighed heavy. For the first time, I thought, maybe karma isn't about justice. Maybe it's about watching people destroy themselves with the very choices they once defended, and Daniel and Amelia were finally living in the ruins they built. The knock on my door was weak, almost apologetic. I opened it and froze. Daniel stood there, hair disheveled, eyes hollow, suit wrinkled like he'd slept in it for days. Emily, he whispered. I crossed my arms. What are you doing here? Please, let me in. Reluctantly, I stepped aside. He stumbled into the kitchen, looking around as if ashamed of how small my place was. I said coldly, Careful, it's not a palace of glass and gold. He winced. I deserve that. Then why are you here? He sank into a chair. Amelia's gone. She took what little money we had left and left me with the debts. Creditors call every hour. I've lost my job, my house. Everything. Everything, I repeated slowly. Except your conscience. Oh, wait. You lost that years ago. He rubbed his face. Emily, I was wrong. About everything. I should have helped Lily. I should have... Stop. My voice cracked. Don't you dare say her name like you care now. Tears welled in his eyes. I do care. I always cared. I was just selfish, cowardly, greedy. Choose whichever fits. He dropped his head into his hands. I don't know how to fix this. You can't, I snapped. You made your choice when you let my daughter suffer while you poured champagne for strangers. Silence hung heavy. Finally, he whispered, I need help, please. You're all I have left. I laughed bitterly. Help from me? After you watched me beg? After you told me your hands were tied while Amelia twirled in pearls? I was blinded, he pleaded. I thought if I made her happy, everything else would fall into place. And did it? No, he admitted, voice breaking. It destroyed me. Good, I thought. But the satisfaction felt sharp and sour. At that moment, Lily padded into the kitchen, clutching her blanket. Uncle Daniel? Daniel lifted his head, shame flooding his face. Hi, sweetheart, she tilted her head. Why are you crying? He swallowed hard. Because I made mistakes. Big ones, she looked at me. Mom, are you mad at him? Very. She walked closer, her small hand on mine. But sometimes helping is the best revenge. Her words cut me open. Daniel looked at her, tears spilling freely. I don't deserve her kindness. No, I said flatly. You don't. Emily, he whispered. Please don't turn me away. I have nothing, no one. I'll sleep on the street if I have to. I wanted to tell him to go. I wanted to slam the door and let karma finish its work. But Lily's hand squeezed mine, her eyes wide and pleading. I whispered to her, You think I should help him? She nodded. Yes, because we're not like them. My throat tightened. But what if helping him breaks me again? Then help carefully, she said softly. I turned to Daniel. If I do anything for you, it's not forgiveness. Understand? It's not forgetting what you did. He nodded quickly. I'll accept anything. You'll pay me back. Every cent? Yes. And you'll never speak Amelia's name in this house again. Never, he swore. I leaned against the counter, rage still simmering. Why should I believe you won't betray me again? Because I've already lost everything, he said. There's nothing left to betray. The raw emptiness in his eyes made me shiver. Lily whispered, Mom, please. He looks broken, I sighed. Fine, you can stay for now. But know this, Daniel. The power you once had over me is gone. You're here because of her mercy, not mine. He bowed his head. Thank you. Don't thank me, I snapped. Thank the child you abandoned. He turned to Lily. Thank you, sweetheart. You're an angel, she smiled faintly. Just don't make Mom cry again. He nodded, choking on his tears. As he sat there, small and defeated, I felt the strangest mix of triumph and exhaustion. I finally had control, yet it tasted like ash. Was this revenge? Or was it mercy disguised as punishment? I didn't know. But I knew one thing. He would never see me on my knees again. Daniel sat at my kitchen table like a shadow, hands trembling around the chipped mug of tea I'd given him. I don't know where else to go, he whispered. I leaned against the counter, arms crossed. That's because you burned every bridge. I know. His voice cracked. But I'm still your brother. Are you? My chest tightened. Brothers don't watch their nieces suffer while they pour money into centerpieces. He winced. I was wrong. I can't undo it, Emily. I can only beg now. I stared at him, fury twisting inside me. Begging doesn't bring back the nights I held Lily while she couldn't breathe. Begging doesn't erase your silence when I asked for help. He lowered his head. I deserve your hatred. But please, don't let me drown. Why shouldn't I? I snapped. You let me drown, Daniel. You watched me choke on bills and despair. His shoulders shook. Because I have nothing left. And because you're stronger than I ever was. I wanted to scream strength wasn't a choice, it was survival. Instead, I said, maybe watching you drown is the justice I deserve. From the hallway, Lily's small voice drifted. Mom, I turned. She stood there, pale but steady. Why are you shouting? I softened. Go back to bed, sweetheart. She walked closer, stubborn. Is Uncle Daniel staying? He's asking to, I muttered. She studied him with those wide, innocent eyes. You look sad, he choked out. I am, Lily. Very sad. She climbed onto my lap and whispered, Mom, sometimes helping is the best revenge. Her words pierced me. Why would you say that? Because if we help him, we're better than what he was. I swallowed hard. And if helping him breaks us again? She shook her head. Then you make rules. You're good at rules. I hugged her tightly, my storm of anger colliding with her fragile wisdom. When she went back to her room, I turned to Daniel. If I help, it's not forgiveness. Don't mistake it for that, he nodded quickly. I understand. You'll pay me back. Every cent? Yes. And you'll follow my rules. No excuses, no lies. You slip once, you're out. I'll do whatever you say. I slammed my palm on the table. Say it clearly, he flinched. I'll follow your rules. I'll pay you back. I swear. I studied him, the once arrogant brother now broken, begging like I once begged him. The power shift should have thrilled me, but all I felt was exhaustion. You know what this is? I asked. What? This is me choosing my daughter's values over my hatred. Don't think for a second it's about you. Tears slid down his face. I'll never forget this. You already forgot what mattered once, I said coldly. Don't do it again. He pressed his hands together like prayer. Thank you, Emily. Don't thank me. Thank Lily. Her mercy saved you. His voice cracked. She's an angel, I whispered. No, she's proof I didn't raise her to be like you. Silence settled, heavy and sharp. Finally, I opened the drawer and pulled out the small envelope of savings I'd scraped together for rent and food. My hands shook as I slid it across the table. Take it, it's not much. But it buys you time. He reached for it, then froze. Are you sure? No, but I'm choosing it anyway. Because I refuse to let your betrayal define me. He clutched the envelope, tears dripping onto it. I'll pay you back, somehow. You'd better, I said. Because this is the last chance you'll ever get. As he nodded, broken and grateful, I turned away, whispering to myself, "This isn't forgiveness. It's survival, mine, Lily's, and maybe his too." Daniel sat across from me at the diner, hands shaking around his empty coffee cup. "You look worse every time I see you," I said. He gave a humorless laugh. "That's because I am worse every time. What happened now?" He stared at the table. Amelia. She saw me downtown, yelled at me in front of everyone. Called me a failure, a fraud. Said she regrets ever marrying me. I raised an eyebrow. "And what did you say?" "Nothing." I couldn't speak. People were watching. "Good," I muttered. "Let them watch the truth." His jaw tightened. "Do you enjoy this? Seeing me crawl?" I leaned forward. "Do you remember me begging? Do you remember telling me your hands were tied?" "That was me crawling." He closed his eyes. "I know, I see it every night. Do you?" My voice cut sharp. "Because I don't think you ever really saw me. You only saw Amelia's reflection." His lips trembled. "I wanted to feel like a winner. That's why I did it. That's why I betrayed you." The words hit like a slap. "A winner? By letting your niece suffer?" He nodded miserably. "Amelia wanted perfection. I wanted her to see me as enough. I thought if I gave her everything, I'd finally matter. And did you?" "No." His voice broke. "I lost everything. Job, money, her. And worst of all, you." I folded my arms. "You never lost me. You threw me away." His eyes filled with tears. "You're right. And I hate myself for it." I studied him. The hollow cheeks, the sagging shoulders, the broken pride. He was a ruin stripped of every mask. "Do you know what I see now?" I asked. "What?" "A man destroyed by his own choices. And it's the only justice I'll ever get." He lowered his head. "If that's my punishment, I accept it." Silence stretched between us, heavy with years of hurt. Finally, I whispered, "You betrayed me for a stage. And now the curtains have fallen, and you're standing there alone." He nodded slowly. "Yes, alone." The waitress refilled his cup, but he didn't touch it. He just sat there staring into nothing. I almost pitied him. Almost. But then I remembered Lily's pale face, the wires, the nights of fear. The pity dissolved into something colder. "Daniel," I said softly, "this is the end of your empire, and the beginning of my peace." He looked up, hollow eyes meeting mine. "Then maybe my ruin was meant to give you that." I didn't answer. I didn't need to. For me, watching him finally see the cost of his choices was victory enough. The hospital room was quiet except for the steady beeping of the monitor. Lily's small hand rested in mine, warm and steady. "Mom," she whispered, eyes fluttering open. "Did it work?" I smiled through tears. "Yes, sweetheart. The surgery worked. You're safe now." She squeezed my hand weakly. "So we don't have to be scared anymore?" "No," I said, brushing her hair back. "No more fear. Just healing." Her lips curved into the tiniest smile. "I knew you'd make it work." I swallowed hard. "You saved me too, Lily. You reminded me who I am." The door opened softly. Sarah peeked in. "How's my brave girl?" Lily smiled faintly. "Tired, but okay." Sarah walked over, kissed her forehead, then looked at me. "You did it, Emily. Against everything, you did it." I shook my head. "I didn't win with money. I won with stubborn love." "That's all I had." Sarah squeezed my shoulder. "Sometimes that's more powerful than anything." Later, when Lily drifted back to sleep, I stepped into the hall. Daniel leaned against the wall, thinner, broken, eyes sunken. "Can I see her?" he asked quietly. I studied him. "She's resting. She doesn't need more pain. I just wanted to say I'm glad she's okay." I crossed my arms. "Gladness doesn't erase what you did." "I know," he whispered. "I'll carry that forever." "Good," I said firmly. "That weight belongs to you." He lowered his eyes. "Amelia's gone. No one knows where. Maybe that's for the best." "Maybe," I said coldly. "She vanished the same way her love did. Temporary." Daniel's voice cracked. "Will you ever forgive me?" I shook my head. "Forgiveness isn't mine to give. You betrayed blood to feel important. You wanted applause. Now you have silence." Tears welled in his eyes. "Then what do I have left?" "Your regret," I said, stepping back. "Live with it. That's your justice." I walked away before he could answer, leaving him to the shadows he created. Back in Lily's room, I sat beside her bed and whispered to myself, revenge didn't save me. Anger didn't heal me. Loving her, choosing her did. I kissed her hand gently, my chest filling with something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Through the window. The city lights flickered, empty illusions like Amelia's orchids and champagne towers. I thought of that wedding, of the money burned in one night, and the empire that collapsed in less than a year. I whispered my final truth. Steady and certain. They spent a fortune on a wedding that lasted a year. I spent my soul fighting for my daughter, and I won.